me, and I always forget it to pull up YouTube channel so I can see the comments, and I always look over to myself as if I'm talking to a person, but you're here, I'm here. Okay. Oh, hey, there we are. That's fortuitous. I'll make sure I can't hear myself, because that would just be annoying. Alright, so per usual, our stream is going to explore Jediism through Jedi fiction. We're going to kind of compare notes and see how that goes. You get to hear me pontificate on quite a few ideas in my head. What else? As said, it's a chat. You can talk, you can leave messages, you can talk in the chat, and I'll try to respond to questions. This is a hangout time as much as it can be an educational time, as well as just having fun with our fiction, with having fun with the video game, and that jazz. But there we go, and let's see, where are we going? We are going to speak to General SWTOR and see where that leads us. Get back on track. I should move my chat. Also, per usual, if the audio is weird or not coming through or anything like that, like I can't hear it, I don't know. So, you know, let me know if there's any issues with the audio. Cool. Where are we going? Is there anyone here yet? No? Probably not. I just put out the thing. I didn't make an announcement, just doing this. I really got to figure out a more set schedule for these videos and what we're doing with them, rather than just randomly. But, you know, let's chalk it up to quarantine life. Bro, it's not cool to stand on tables. All traders to it's an assumption. We must remain calm, General. Again, telling someone to remain calm rarely works. Usually you want a more indirect tactic for your Jedi diplomacy. Don't be so sure. Again, don't assume. Assumptions against the Jedi way. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, maybe not, but like that's an irrelevant fact. Never underestimate a droid, especially a droid on the table. Well, yeah, droids and their protocols. I really want to move my chat bar. It's annoying me, and I can't do it in the middle of a conversation. You're our only hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He could trap us here. So when I play this game and they talk about these kind of weapons, I always have trouble kind of envisioning it. You know, having a vision of what it does, what it says. It says it's supposed to ionize the upper atmosphere and kind of be like an ion cannon that would disable ships coming in or out of the atmosphere. But that seems like it would do a lot more to the planet than just, you know, stop ships. I mean, that seems like it would really effectively destroy a planet, period. You know, I don't think people are being quarantined like we are with an ionized atmosphere? But I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know these things. But so he could trap us here forever. And also, if you're building this weapon where you're like, okay, we can ionize the atmosphere of a planet, right? Like, oh, okay, we can do that. We could disable ships coming in or out. Really cool. Wouldn't you want an off switch at some point? Like, shouldn't you be developing an off switch along with that? But I suppose that goes to when people develop biological weapons and they don't develop the cure along with it. Like, that's always weird to me, but you know, whatever. Okay, so back to it. You're our only hope of stopping that, of course, because we're the Jedi Knight in this story. Begin an evacuation. That's improbable and impractical. Is there no one else? Like, that's more me, but well, we have to find him. Let's see what we got. Trying to make scientific sense of Star Wars. Yeah, it's a bad idea. Neil deGrasse Tyson likes to remind us of that. Justicars, paramilitary vigilantes. Damn vigilantes. Yeah, so I was saying, I was talking over when they were talking. That's a bad idea, I know, on the audio, so like, don't do that. But yeah, trying to make science out of Star Wars is always a bad idea. And it really is. Like, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know, loves to poke fun at sci-fi movies with the stuff that they're kind of getting wrong, and that's fair, because it is meant to just be fun. But again, I don't know. Like, it doesn't even have to be scientifically sound, but you should have an off switch for your weapon. That's just my idea. And so we got Talon and Aurelia here. So hello to y'all, and we will continue on. Tell me, so you're seeking information, right? So seek information, Jedi. That's what it's about. I'm counting on it. The decision isn't mine. Technically it is, because you were put in charge. So bad idea. It's not actually like Jedi of any level, and it's why, like, Jediism versus even in the fiction, right? Jedi Padawans were capable individuals, so technically not a bad idea. Also, in real life, there is no real hierarchy to being a Jedi, so you know, we're all in the mess, in the muck together, so having another Jedi along with you, not a bad idea. Bam. No pressure. Alright, I'm moving this chat window. Not moving this chat window, or I would have to go into my interface editor and move my chat window, and that's fine. I'm not doing that. So we'll just do it that way. Alright, off we go. Why did that not? Oh, right. Off we go. Off we go. No hierarchy, revoking my Jedi Master rank already. Yeah, man. You know, I get bored of titles really quick. I just Jedi Master, Jedi Knight, Jedi Padawan, Jedi Consular, Jedi. What else do we have? Healer, Jedi Guardian, Jedi Librarian, Jedi Counselor, which is different than Consular, right? Right? Yeah. That's all. There's one word that keeps repeating in there, and that's the word that matters. The rest is just ego nonsense, human classification. And I will fight you, Aurelia. I will fight you. Alright, what am I doing? Alright, let's see. We're moving along. We're going to fight people if I can do this properly. Also, vigilantism? Vigilantism? Is that a word? Is that a thing? Is a no-no in the Jedi path, just for those overeager, you know, self-righteous people. Not what Jedi do. Not what Jedi do. Okay, we got 5 people watching, maybe. Maybe? Maybe. What do you know? Alright, yep. Per usual, you're free to jump in the chat and say whatever, or ask questions, or, you know, otherwise otherwise sit here with me as we take a taxi to the thing. What up, Joe Costa? How you doing? Hello there. Thank you for joining us on this magical evening, afternoon, morning, dawn, twilight, midnight, wherever you are. I don't know. Talks amongst yourselves if you so have the thing. Inclination to do so. Pick fights we don't need, because we don't really have to worry about that. Oh, jeez. Alright. Huh. Alright. Since I am not doing anything else, unless anybody else, I know some of you have played this game quite a bit. Talent, I'm looking at you. If there's a mission you think would be good for Jedi philosophy, there's one that I really am looking forward to doing on Alderaan, and that's not part of the class storyline. So if you guys think of one or have a question about one, or like you played the game and you went through this question, you're like, that was interesting, you know, feel free to recommend it. Excuse me. Just messing around with stuff. It's evening and cloudy, so yeah. How is everyone? Everyone will have to answer that. I am fine. Yeah. Good as new. Okay, yeah, I am fine. I hope you are doing fine as well. I only play a Sith, so this is all. Well, I'm glad we're expanding your horizons, Raylia. Whoops, that was not what I wanted to do. Oh, I'm not going to get my Black Bisector title. Not doing the planet quest. So sad. this is a Sith storyline that if you... It's a Sith storyline that if you make a light side Sith, can be very intriguing. Yes. Von Fleet. Yeah, we actually talked about it on one of the other episodes somewhere where we were talking about, you know, the different games and storylines we play, especially in this game. And yeah, we talked about that a lot of people find the light side versions of the Empire side characters to be the most engaging and interesting and kind of like, you know, yeah, it has the more interesting options and the more interesting navigation. I haven't played a light side Empire character, whether Sith, Bounty Hunter, etc., to like the new content, to the end game content, like not through any of that, any of the other stuff. Like, yeah, just I haven't gone that far, especially the one with like Odessa, and you get to actually choose whether your character goes back to Republic or Empire, like, because eventually that'll, like, if you guys have played that, which I'm assuming you have, you, by the end you get, you know, all that dissolves, you're your own faction, blah 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 blah, but then you go back to that dichotomy of Republic versus Empire, and, you know, your alliance has to pick a side, which is silly, because it was, the whole point of it was not being Republic or Empire, whatever. And so I haven't played that point to see how that plays out and how that affects the characters and things like that. So it's interesting. Kind of follows the philosophy of the Grey Jediism. There's no such thing. I'm sorry to tell you. There's absolutely no such thing as Grey Jediism. That's just adherent fence sitting with no, well, you're either a Jedi or you're not. There's no in between. There's no gray area. All of it's gray. Life is gray. Life is not Star Wars. There's no gray. It's all gray. Where are we at? Alright, moving along. Yes, that is not a drink. My liver cannot handle that drinking game. People love their Grey Jedi, man. It's an interesting. I've always found it interesting. I remember in like 1999 when Grey and Shadow Jedi were just beginning to evolve into terms within the Jedi community, and really in Star Wars in general. Like, no one really before that point had, you know, there was no discussion of quote-unquote Grey Jedi before the prequels, you know. There was, because, like, you know, the way it was classified, the way it was, like, Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi is this very kind of quote-unquote gray character, right? The first time you see Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, he force chokes a Gamorrean guard, straight up, and that's your good guy. That's your good guy. Check us out on Facebook. Van Fleet, bruh. I get that there are groups. I get that there are groups that are Grey Jedi and Grey Jediism and all that. But I promise you, I come to your Facebook page, I will tear it to pieces. Not in a bad way, not in an aggressive way, not in a malicious way. There is just a fundamental philosophical problem with Grey Jediism. It doesn't exist. It can't exist. There is no way it exists outside of hubris, right? Like, either you follow the Jedi way, which is a box. It's a big box. It's a very big box. It's a very big box. Lots of individuality allowed in it, but it is still a box. And if you don't adhere to that box, then you're not a Jedi. End of story. Not Grey Jedi, not Red Jedi, not Force Jedi, or not Christian Jedi, not anything. You're just not a Jedi. That's just it. End of story. Well, I'm not a Sith either. Cool. There were plenty in Star Wars. There's plenty of groups that are not Jedi, and they're not Sith. They're neither, right? Because the Force is a universal thing. It is something that connects all life. No different in real life, right? If we're talking about energy, it is not confined to a specific ideology or philosophy, right? So, what defines Jedi isn't the lightsabers, it isn't the robes, it isn't anything. It's the philosophy. And if you live by the philosophy, then you're a Jedi. And if you don't live by the philosophy, then you're not a Jedi. It is as clear as that. It is as black and white as that. There just is no gray. They're not. It's just, there wasn't in the fiction either. People forget that. People forget that. But as people who know me know that this is a subject, as I said, that I've been dealing with since 1999. That's where I was going before that. And it was created because in 1999, 97, 98, 99, very like they had that false dichotomy going on, right? There was light Jedi and dark Sith and rah rah rah, and they were both these extremes of each other, right? The light Jedi were super selfless and super like love light, couldn't do this, couldn't do that, just so many restrictions. And then the dark side at that time was all this, it has to be hate, it has to be malice and anger and fear and rah, and that's silly. So of course Grey Jedi and Shadow Jedi terms were born at that time because there were people who were like, look, I just want to be a Jedi, but that doesn't mean I'm all fluffy bunnies, love and light, and like there's no like straight up pacifist, you know, no place for martial application. And then there were people like, oh, I get I like the empowerment of the dark side, but all this anger and emotional like hate and stuff, that's just draining and silly. Where's the philosophy? That's not a philosophy. That's just draining. That's a dead end. That is no way to live. And so, like, through exploration, of course, and the reality is, you know, as we know now, the reality is that the Jedi path, when you look at it fundamentally, when you look at the core of the Jedi, not what individual organizations believe or what they preach or what Jedi texts they hold on to, but when you look at just the core that survives all groups, when you look at the core of the Jedi path, it's this very specific thing, but it can be lived in so many ways. That's why I say it's a box, right? Like there are practices, there are traits, there are tenets, there are core ideals that all Jedi adhere to, every single Jedi. But there's fluctuations in that, and how that manifests in life and how you live that in life, that's going to differ from Jedi to Jedi. It doesn't make a person gray, red, purple, silver, blue, and yes, these were all Jedi terms and classifications at one time in Jedi groups. It doesn't change that. Jediism, especially if we're talking Jediism, if you're talking Jediism, then you have to realize none of that. Like, either you adhere to that core, which again, it's not as big as people think. The core of the Jedi philosophies is a pretty small thing, but the way that peace can be pursued and lived and experienced, that's huge. That's right, like peace is this huge idea. And then you talk about knowledge and you talk about serenity and harmony. These are actually like really huge ideas. And we start talking about patience, diplomacy, physical fitness, martial application, defense. What does defense really mean? How does that really manifest in life? A Jedi defends those in need. Well, what does that mean? How does that manifest? How can I pursue that? You know, it's not always about lightsabers and fighting and all that stuff, right? Like, there are many ways to defend one in need. There's many ways to be a voice for the voiceless. So you have these core ideals, these core concepts: defense, service to others, right? Creativity, finding your bliss, the Force if you want. all of these core ideas that every Jedi will subscribe to, but not like ask 10 Jedi how they subscribe to them, you're going to get 10 different answers. There's just that much variety in it. And again, that doesn't change the path. That doesn't change what it means. That doesn't require a new label saying that, oh, well, I view defense as this very, authorian type thing. I believe in capital punishment. And Morton Solis's from Mass Effect 2's view that there's different ways to help people, cure an illness or remove dangerous people. Both way helps, that kind of thing, right? Like that argument. That doesn't make you gray or shadow or forest or red. It just makes you a Jedi if you adhere to the ideals of the Jedi path. That's all. That's it. It's not complicated. And yet it's beautifully complex, right? The path is simple, but how we live it is complex and individualistic and beautiful in its own right and in its own way. And each person gets to explore it and share it and live it and be a version of the Jedi path that's unique to them, to their life, to their experiences. And to say it's gray or to say it's purple or to say it's this and that removes the beauty of it, because you're trying to fit it into a new box. You're trying to take something, you're trying to take it out of the Jedi box and fit it into a new box, which is smaller, more confined, and useless. Stop. Just leave it in the big box. It's a big box. Leave it alone. Leave it in there. Have fun. Explore in the box. It's a huge box. It's very big. It's a sandbox game. Go have fun in the sandbox game. Stop trying to make it linear and defined and all that stuff. Stop it. Stop it. Jedi or no Jedi? Those are your questions. To be or not to be? What am I doing? What am I doing? This is why at Jedi gatherings people do not bring up this subject around me. Where am I going? I'm going down. Sorry. Oh, and I've not been looking at the chat. That's my bad. Where are we at? The balance is what we keep. Oh! Uh-oh. Oh, we're gonna have to stop. Okay. Balance. Do you want to know what balance is? Let's talk about balance. Okay, let's talk about balance in real life. Well, fine, we won't. That's fine. Balance. Grey Jedi love this thing. They have that fanfic code that they took from someone who was writing fanfic, literally writing fan fiction, and created a Grey Jedi code for it. Which, full respect, by the way, if you're talking fan fiction or role-playing games or anything like that, like, have at it, dude. I will never besmirch you a Grey Jedi in those senses. Live it, love it, all that stuff. But there's that Grey Jedi code that they love to hang on to, like, I am the keeper of balance, I am the keeper of the flame, and blah, 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 blah. Here's every single Jedi is about balance. Every single one. The Jedi path itself is about balance. Every topic, pick a topic, pick an aspect of the Jedi path. In Jediism, right? Let's pick, you know what? Here, I can't exit out of this. What are we going to do? I need a different thing. Oh well. I'll have to do it off of memory. Okay, so let's pick. Jediism likes to use certain texts, right? It likes to use the 21 maxims of Jediism. Is a very, 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 very popular one in Jediism usage. So, balance, right? Now, ignoring for the fact that I'm pretty sure balance is one of the maxims, I might be wrong on that. That one I don't have committed to memory as the best, right? Like, there's other documents up in my head, such as the Jedi Circle. But I'm pretty sure balance is in it, but let's forget that for a second. But let's talk about one that I do know is in there, which is justice. Justice is a core part of one of the 21 maxims of Jediism. Okay, so as a Jedi, not gray, not dark, not light, Jediism, Jedi is real Jedi, living the path. Justice is all about balance and how you manifest it, how you encourage it, how you enforce it. That is all balance. And a Jedi has to balance between mercy and punishment. Justice in and of itself is an issue of balance. You go too far, you create this totalitarian, authoritative dictatorship with it, right? Like you become the thing you don't want to be. It's like Anakin talking to Padme in episode 2, right? We'll force him to, right? That's what's required. That's not democracy. That's not justice. That's your idea of justice. That's going too far. You have lost balance in that. All the ideas, every single concept within the Jedi way is a thing of balance. You go too far in either direction. Service. Let's talk about service because, again, 21 maxims. Pretty sure it's in there, and it is in just about every Jediism document which exists. So let's talk about service to others, right? Duty, charity. Great. Selflessness. We want to give. We want to better the world. That is excellent. There is balance to that. If you mess up the balance in that concept, you're going to go one way or the other. You're going to go too far. And if you think you can't go too far with being selfless, if you think you can't go too far with being service, George R. Price, look him up. He went too far. It happens. Jedi already want to help, but if you're not in a position to help, if you're just giving and giving and giving, here's my money, here's my money, here's my money. Oh wait, now my lights are being turned off. Oh wait, now I don't have money for rent. Oh wait, now I don't have money for food. Oh wait, now I am the person that needs help. You've lost balance. You approach that topic from an imbalance. You allowed yourself to give and give and give until there was nothing left to give. That's not just physical stuff, right? That's not just money. That's not just time. That's yourself. That's your emotional energy. That's your mental energy. If you give and give and give and give until there's nothing left, you are going to run yourself ragged. But we know service and selflessness and giving is a core part of the Jedi path. But balance, you have to balance that with self-care. You cannot pour from an empty teapot. You have to brew tea. You have to stop trying to pour and fill everybody's cup up. You have to stop, brew more tea for yourself. You have to make sure you have some tea for you. Balance. Everything in the Jedi way is about balance and keeping balance and not going too far with it. Everything. Peace, knowledge, serenity, harmony, the Force, all of it is about balance. There's the word balance, the keeper of balance is a misunderstanding. If you feel that that's a gray thing, then you've misunderstood the entirety of Jedi philosophy, and you need to get back to basics, because Jediism, Jedi philosophy, all of it stems with a balance of what you do, how you enact it, how you live it, and making sure that you're doing so in an applicable way, in a practical way, in a beneficial way, and in a positive way. You want to make sure that this is working not only for you, but for those around you, and it is like a world betterment through self-betterment. You really need that, and that requires balance. That requires a give and take. It requires an ebb and flow. It requires you to adjust your tactics, and sometimes you're going to go 100%. You're going to go hard. You're going to get it. And then there's other times you're going to take a step back, and you're going to support, and you're going to let other people go and get it. Balance. It's not always about being the hero. It's not always about being the leader. Sometimes we have to take a step back and work on ourselves. Sometimes we have to take a step back, let others lead, because they're the ones best suited in that situation or for that specific moment, right? Like, there's balance, there's give and take, there's ebb and flow. The Jedi way, the Jedi philosophy, all of it is about balance. That's not a gray thing. Again, that was born from the fiction. That was born in 1998, you know, when there were this false dichotomy of light, fluffy bunnies, pacifists, and then dark, evil malice, and there needed to be an understanding, a balance, a middle line, a thing that we want. But that's the reality is that is the entirety of Jediism. That is the entirety of Jedi philosophy. All of it is a balance. All of it. Everything. Every single Jedi lives balance. Every single Jedi cares about balance. Every single Jedi is the keeper of balance. That's not gray. That's Jedi. Big box. Big box. Still a box. Okay. We done? Am I done? 5 shots. Seems fair. Here we go. Brought the popcorn. Typo. Balance need balance. Yeah, Thanos. That's a good one. Balance needs balance, right? Yeah. Maybe that's what the... and disclaimer to anybody who's made it this far and is like really wants to argue me. Disclaimer. I'm not against... I mean, I'm against Grey Jedi. I am. But it's not an attack against you. Like, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But I'm always going to argue against it because it is a misunderstanding of Jedi philosophy. That's just fact. And I will argue to the ends of the earth. And we could do a live stream. We could do a hangout, a Google Hangout or whatever, and we could debate it. I'm more than willing. I have like 3 videos that I've made in regards to Grey Jedi that I haven't put up, which show why it's not it shows why it's just not a thing. That isn't to say you aren't Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, I feel 90% of people who say they're a Grey Jedi are just Jedi, and they just don't understand that. They don't see it, you know, for whatever reason. That reason could be something as small as Grey Jedi just sounds cooler, it makes it its own little clique, or it could be something, you know, that's a bigger issue. But, like, I'm against it and I'm not against it, right? Like, I'm not actually going to go to the Facebook group and, like, start tearing down why Grey Jediism shouldn't be there, and you should just adopt the term Jediism if that's what you're about. I'm not going to do that, right? Like, that's not my thing. That's not what I'm gonna, I'm not there to fight you. I'm not there to be antagonistic. It's not meant to be antagonistic. It's not meant to be, you shouldn't do this thing. It's just meant to be like, it's just not a thing. It's just not. And I get why it exists, and I get how it got created and how it got started, and why people to this day want it. Especially, this is an age of anti-heroes. This is an age where the anti-hero's like really big, really popular. People love the anti-hero, and Jedi are not anti-heroes. Really, like they're not portrayed that way. Again, Return of the Jedi gets really iffy in there. Luke, our first introduction. He's force choking a Gamorrean guard, which was highly unnecessary. That's that's some questionable stuff. What's great about the Machete Order, it's a whole other tangent, I digress, but the thing that's great about the Machete Order, if you never watched Star Wars, is you watch, A New Hope, and you watch, Empire Strikes Back, and then you watch the prequels, and you see Anakin's fall and turn, and then you watch Return of the Jedi, and then there's Luke wearing all black, choking out a Gamorrean guard, and you're like, whoa, what happened here? Like, where you would think he had turned. And that's how, I think that's interesting, right? And I can see why people have that fascination with, I love anti-heroes, man. I do too. Like Deadpool. I think one of the first ones I really loved was from Trigun. And for some reason, his name is completely blanking out of my head, but he carried a coffin. He was my favorite character, and now I can't even... Is it Wolf or something? I don't know. Anyways, point being that love the anti-hero. I think it's like a really interesting thing to explore. It just doesn't exist in the Jedi path. Like Mace Windu is a great example. Qui-Gon Jinn, great example. People love to say Qui-Gon Jinn was a great Jedi, but he wasn't. Not fictionally, not in the expanded universe. In no way, canonically speaking, was he a great Jedi. In no way, through Jediism exploration with our AP/BP test, is he a great Jedi. He was just a Jedi, a master, and considered for the council seat. So, you know, it's not... Jedi is a box. It's a big box. Grey is an unnecessary term. And again, it's not meant to be antagonistic. I'm not trying to fight you. It's just not a thing. I'm sorry. Okay. Whatever. Continuing on to the purpose of this video. Jedi keep the Republic safe, man. Jedi are shutting down your project. It's probably for the best, you know. But I get it. I get it. Alright. You killed everyone, which, first of all, suck. Alright. No less than you deserve. Very Jedi answer right there. That is the... Tell me how to find him. That he wouldn't know. Well, that's an assumption, so. But, first, if he has information, save him, he'll be able to get to you. Yeah, I could do that, by the way. Okay, fan noise, couldn't tell you. I don't hear the audio, so as I always say in these videos, you know, if there's an issue with the audio, let me know and we can play with it, but couldn't tell you. As for subtitles, I'm sure there's a thing on there somewhere. Where would it be? That is an excellent question. Not controls, not nameplate. I don't know where it would be. Display subtitles for conversation. There you go. Okay. And we're running over here. And doing this nonsense. And apparently my rant killed that discussion. Well, isn't that ironic? I guess we could seek more information. I always like, in the Jedi path, again, we talk about knowledge as a core tenet, whether from the Jedi Code, Jedi Circle, maxims, even the teachings. If you go to 33 teachings, it's in there. Really, just about everything. 3 pillars, obviously, all kind of list knowledge. So anytime you can explore and try to gain more knowledge is usually the way you should go. You know, avoid recklessness and all that. Assumptions are not. Assumptions are the mother of all mistakes. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to the works. I did not unlock that, did I? I did not. Where are we at? How long have we been doing this thing? I don't even know. Close to an hour. Did I rant for an hour? Is that what happened? Probably. Talon, where you at? Where's my time? What's my time? What's the clock? We're at 45 minutes. 45 minutes. And we played nothing during that time. Nothing. Good job, man. Half an hour rant. Okay, great. Good job. Wonderful. We're never gonna get off this planet. Okay. Well, I am. Did I discover this? I did discover this. Alright, good enough. Alright. I will tell you in a second here. Tasty. Okay, so in an effort to keep these videos under an hour as much as possible, we did technically get a quest done. I was hoping for more than a quest, right? But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Some subjects I am a bit more passionate about than others. Suppose that has something to do with keeping the balance or something like that. I'm just playing. Again, not antagonistic, not trying to fight ya. Just expressing the realities of the path. Anyways, so I'm gonna open it up for questions while I chill here and see where that takes us. Outside of that, probably gonna be closing up shop here. Yeah. So, any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, anything at all? No? Good. At least I have a title for this video now. I continually make the Grey Jedi community upset with me. They really don't like me. Don't worry, it's been that way since 1999. It's all good. Been waging that war for a long time, and technically I have lost. You know, if you want to keep score count, because it still exists. So, no questions? Good? Everybody's good? Had a fun time staring at nothing as the character just stood there and I ranted the entire time? Alright. What's the title? Oh, I'll probably edit it to be like, you know, Grey Jedi something, 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 or Grey Jedi Rant. I don't know, I like to keep it short and to the point and direct, so people, fair warning, you know, forewarned is forearmed. I technically was a Grey Jedi Knight at one time. I did go through their training, I did get a Knight title, so technically I am a Grey Jedi, you know, same with Shadow, you know, that's the joys of being in the Jedi community for as long as, you know. Also, especially back then, it wasn't very difficult. Jedi Opie versus Grey Jedi. Again, I'm not trying to be antagonistic. I am not trying to fight people. There's just a fundamental problem with it. It's just a fundamental problem. It just, there's no defining factor. You can define the Jedi, you can define the Sith, but you can't define the Grey Jedi in a way that removes the word Jedi. There's just no, because, and usually most people, if you ask a Grey Jedi to define being a Grey Jedi versus being a Jedi, they'll start telling you things, you'll be like, that's Jedi, that's Jedi, that's Jedi, that's still Jedi, that's still Jedi, and yeah, it's just, that's just the reality. Every once in a while, you'll get one, and you're like, well, you're not a Jedi, so boom, done. And that clears that up too. Still answers the question. Okay, all right, we're good. No questions, just more ranting. Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. If you're interested in California Jedi or no California Jedi, and you want to come hang out in the California Jedi chat tonight, you can do so. Find them on Facebook, along with the Grey Jediism, and which is apparently also on Facebook. And there you go. So you can join us for that if you want to hang out. Everybody is welcome. All Jedi are welcome. All right. Okay. All right. I'm out of here. You're out of here. Go enjoy your quarantine time or whatever you're doing, and I will catch you all. Nope, that's not the right button. I will catch you all later. And may the Force